Shedeur Sanders again. He will be making his debut start against the Las Vegas Raiders in the upcoming game, in this week's game. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat as well. Before I do that, let me see some of these comments. Shout out to Lynn in the building. I gotta put, I don't know, you're speaking in Spanish, my brother. So I gotta put the translate on, and I don't have that handy. But shout out to you. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Patrick, Knicks fan. Hold on, why this? Okay, Knicks finally won their first road game tonight versus Dallas, 113-111. All right, okay. Many people think the Knicks going to the finals this year. I like Anthony Mason on the Knicks. Yeah, old Mace was a problem. Shout out to Bebop. Can't wait for Sheduer to prove everyone who passed on him wrong this weekend. Go Raiders. No Nintendo. Here's what I think about the Shedeur Sanders thing regarding that. I can't stand the narrative, and I'm not saying you saying this. I can't stand the narrative when I hear these sports guys, whether they on ESPN or Fox Sports, and they say, oh, nobody wanted him. It's all over the lead. And it's like, yo, stop the cap. Stop the cap. Anybody knows in the NFL, it's by position. All teams wasn't in the market for Sheduer. So to say that nobody wanted him is crazy. Second thing, there was reports that several teams wanted him that had established quarterbacks already, and he said thank you, but no thank you. He wanted to take his chances at a place that didn't have an established quarterback. So obviously there was teams that wanted him. So I hate that narrative when I hear guys on ESPN and Fox Sports say that. Second thing, I really hope Sheduer go out there and go crazy. I really do. In this game, I think he's going to do well. People like to talk about, oh, he struggled. He went 4 for 16 and he looked like trash. If you're looking at the stats alone, the stats would easily suggest that. But that game had context. And the reason why it had context is because you saw enough that he's the best quarterback you have on your team. Even going for 4 for 16, a lot of those passes was risk and reward type passes. He's trying to push the ball downfield because the team is no longer in an advantageous situation. They have to be aggressive. They have to put up points because at some point, Baltimore's going to put up some points, which they ended up doing. 4 for 16. He completed the first 2 passes. The next few passes, the Ravens dialed up blitzes like Sheduer was Patrick Mahomes. Those were exotic blitzes sent on purpose. They was trying to win the game. Rookie quarterback that didn't get any reps. When they said, and another thing that these bum-ass ESPN reporters or whatever they want to call themselves, insiders, were saying, oh, first team reps don't matter. They absolutely do matter. When you got these old ass quarterbacks like, yeah, I was a career backup and I had to be ready on site. You was a career backup that had to be ready on site. That you been that. They didn't draft you to be the man, bro. You was drafted to be the backup, so you always had to be on point. Yes, that's your job. That's your life. They didn't draft Sheduer to possibly be no backup. The world don't view him as no backup. He was supposed to be the first round pick. So what are we talking about? Y'all not even looked in the same breath, bro. Y'all wasn't even looked at the same. None of these quarterbacks was talking. It's like nobody looked at you like you was it at that time. I remember all these insiders that are quarterbacks was talking like they was it when they was in college. Like you was decent, you got drafted, but you wasn't it, bro. You wasn't it. You wasn't numero uno. What are we talking about? Sheduer haven't had any real reps, and that matters in the NFL, especially in week 11. Especially in week 11. Why do that matter? It's because it's the NFL. Dudes are bigger, stronger, faster. You're playing against the Ravens. As an organization, the history of their defense is kick ass. That's the history of their defense, kick ass. So you think a rookie quarterback is going to come on this field and just go crazy? Oh no, you're going to have to earn this. And not to mention, the offensive line haven't even heard this man's cadence. Why do that matter? Because that gives the offensive line an advantage against the defensive line. Secondly, receivers, they was a little off. There was a couple drops. There was a couple routes that could have been better ran. And I wouldn't even say more so better ran, but more so understanding the inks when it comes to breaking the play. All right, yo, we're going to extend the plays. So you're going to do this and I'm going to do that. And being on point with that. And you seen it was a little bit off. And they still lost the game by being a little bit off. That matters. So when you hear these bum-ass ESPN, Fox Sport people talking about, oh, it don't matter about reps. It does matter, bro. The difference is when you got drafted, you was never looking to be the starter like that, bro, because you wasn't it like that. So keep it cool, keep it humby. His situation is different. So with him starting this week, getting a full week, do I expect him to look like Patrick Mahomes? No. I expect him to be better. I expect that offense to be better, not just from a passing standpoint, but from a running standpoint. I expect that offensive line to play better. I expect that receiving core to play better. So I expect Shedeur to play better. I think Shedeur will probably have more completions in the first drive in this game than he would have had all last game. You're not going to get a 4 for 16 performance from Shedeur ever again. And he played a half. So at the end of the day, I expect Shedeur to go crazy. I expect him to go crazy. As a matter of fact, I expect him to have a good game. I expect him to have a good game. Some insiders are saying this is the most important game that he's ever going to play. No, this is not. This is against the Raiders, bro. Cut it out. He needs to have a good game. A solid game. A game that he could build on. He doesn't need to go out there, throw for 300 yards and light it up against the Raiders. He don't need to do that. He just has to give the team a chance to win. If he does his part, that's going to be more than enough to give him another opportunity. He's a young man. A young man. Shedeur's like 22, 23. He's going to have a few more opportunities. This game is not end all be all. Now, if he goes out there and stink it up, he's going to make it rough. But it's not end all be all, bro. Now, if he goes out there and go crazy, then he's putting himself on a fast track to shutting that conversation all the way down on who is undoubtedly the quarterback of the future for the Cleveland Browns. If he goes out there and light it up, then that's a completely different conversation. So I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for Shedeur because I've never seen so many grown-ass men that barely played any real football root against him. I've never seen that. I've never seen so many grown men have a real like something invested to see him like fail or see him mess up. I've never seen that a day in my life. And it's coming from people that didn't do nothing really in any type of sport, let alone football. Don't even understand what the quarterback position entails. The type of dedication that you have to have. And in the NFL on top of that. So, nephew, go out there, do your thing, and be the star that everybody that roots for you know that you are. And prove yourself right. And in the midst of that, you're going to prove your haters wrong. So shout out to Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to be rooting for 12. We smashing in our pink and black. Haterade, 2 interceptions. Randall Cunningham, time management. Baltimore Loud. Y'all trolling in the chat. Shout out to Vic. You trolling. I hope Shedeur shows up. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Patrick. Jets, Raiders, and Saints could have definitely drafted him. That's a fact. All three teams trash. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. Shout out to Boy in the building. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. You're asking a strange question, sir. Show real love, man. Don't be here trolling, bro. This is weird. Excuse me. Shout out to Biggs. He said facts. Shout out to Vic. Is that Barry Sanders' son? Come on, you know that's not Barry Sanders' son. Vic is stupid. But yeah, so again, I'm hoping Sheduer go out there and really do his thing and shine, man. Because it's just crazy to me that I'm seeing so many grown men really like be invested and like, yo, he had a terrible game. Like, what they do that at? Like, I just never, and they come from niggas that ain't never really played no football like that, bro. That don't even understand what that shit take. Playing the quarterback position is the most covered position in sports for a reason. It's the hardest position to play in the sport for a reason. That's not even a debate. Anybody that played any type of football that says that the quarterback position is not the hardest position to play on the field, it's bugging, man. He got on. Get out of here. Get out of here. For some people that say the DB it's not. It's not. DB is one, like, the reason why the DB is not the hardest position to play, some people say it's basically running backwards. No, it's not, bro. You're not running backwards because certain teams play man and certain teams play zone, certain teams play press coverage. You don't run backwards. Hey, if you play zone, you play an area. If you play man, you got to follow that man. Some teams don't play man all game. Some teams don't play zone all game. It's a chess match. Quarterbacking is the hardest position to play. The only position I'll say in sports that might be harder than that is probably being a pitcher. But I'll put quarterback ahead of that because when that team lose on a baseball team, I don't hear pitcher's name all up in the news. When the quarterback is nice, the world knows. When a quarterback is garbage, the world knows. It's the most important position in sports. Shout out to Patrick. I kissed the girl, and I liked it. Katy Perry, so you stupid, Patrick. Those can't do commentate. I wouldn't even call it commentate. They just be talking. That's a different word of commentate, but I get the sentiment that you're talking about. But talking and really talking is two different things. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying though. I play fullback behind Lawrence Phillips. He softened up the defense for me. He played yeah, man. Shout out to my dog Vic, man. Shout out to my dog Vic. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. My pick 6 is in. College football picks is in. NFL picks is in. My pick 6 is in for this week.